welcome to the first episode of the Triple Threat Podcast, where we'll be talking about the NBA. I'm Isaac Santos, and I'm joined by three of my closest friends.
I'm CJ.
I'm Evan.
Okay.
Today, we'll be talking about the Clippers choke, Doc Rivers, and that he will be returning to the Clippers in the 2021 season, the preview of the Western Conference Finals, the Celtics Heat series, and more. Let's start off first with the news that Chris Haynes reported about half an hour ago about Doc Rivers returning to the Clippers as the head coach next season. Do you guys agree with this move?
I would resign. I mean, he clearly didn't want to be there. You can hear through his press conferences that he was totally focused on different things other than winning, and it's up to him. I can't really,
because he came back. Doc Rivers is a great coach. It's just sometimes players just absolutely screw up, and the Clippers are on 3-1 leads. That cannot happen. You have two of the best players in the world, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Paul George sucks.
The max you can go in that series is probably about Game 6. There's no way that they should have blown that lead.
They should have won 5. They were up like over 20 in the first half. I can't believe they lost.
Doc Rivers, I think that the right decision to re-sign because he's a good coach, and then just all around. Yeah, sometimes you guys just don't get it done. You can't blame it all on the coach.
We'll see how good he coaches next year with Giannis.
Okay, I just like to bring up that this is Doc Rivers' third 3-1 lead blew in his coaching career. He's blown 8 leads in the career of his coaching career. And for the 10 years that he's been in the Clippers and all the disasters with CP3 to Blake Griffin to the Rockets coming back down 3-1 with Josh Smith splashing those threes, to this one, the only constant in those Clippers teams was Doc Rivers. And I feel like it's time we need to look in the mirror and look at Doc and say, is he that great of a coach? We know he's a great motivator, but is it time to do what the Toronto Raptors did last offseason with Dwayne Casey being the guy and the coach, a very respected coach, don't get me wrong, but wasn't so bright in the X's and O's, and bringing a guy like Nick Nurse when they have assistants that are highly regarded, such as Sam Cassell, Tyronn Lue. Those are guys that have previous coaching experience in Tyronn Lue, and Sam Cassell is very well respected. Getting considered for the Houston Rockets job, was it time to go to a new voice in LA?
Coaches don't mean shit in the NBA. I'll reiterate myself. But yeah, I really don't think Doc Rivers was motivated them at all. You said he is a motivational coach. I would have to disagree with that. I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with you saying that coaches don't matter, because any coach, I think the majority of the coaches would have definitely limited Montrezl Harrell's minutes as they did, and unless Zubac was in foul trouble. And honestly, I don't think Lou Williams should have played a single minute in the series, especially when you saw him getting torched every second half. His shot was not falling, and if Lou Williams is going to be on the court, his shot has to be falling and looking for baskets. And when that doesn't happen, there's no point of playing Lou Williams. I'd rather go to a floor spacer like Shamet or Beverly if he's not in foul trouble, or even Reggie Jackson. I don't think Lou Williams should have been in the rotation for the Clippers this series.
The problem is they were up over 20 in the Game 5 first half. They definitely thought that it was over right then. And whether they admit it or not, they let up, bro. Like they thought
back-to-back games.
Yeah. Talk about the Nuggets Lakers now. I really think the Nuggets don't match up that well with the Lakers. But Jeremy Grant, it's all going to depend on how he defends LeBron and AD, I think.
A big thing that the Nuggets kind of forced the Lakers to do, in my opinion, is that they forced them to play big. Rockets, when they played the Rockets, JaVale was a DNP the last 3 games, and they started Marcus Morris, and Morris really stretched them out. He gave them more floor spacing, and they utilized their best lineup with Anthony Davis at center. Now, is Anthony Davis going to want to play center when he has to go to Jokic 48 minutes a game?
Probably not.
Or is it going to be? And especially when Jokic is a guy who draws fouls, he gets to the line, you're going to have to put guys like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee on the floor. The extent is, how much do you want them on the floor? Especially against Jokic. I mean, Jokic he's the best passing big man of all time. In my opinion, he's elevated himself to the best center in the league. And he might be the first impact center we've had since the 90s and late 2000s. There hasn't been a best player center to win for a long time now. And Jokic might be that guy now.
I don't know. I just wish he could defend the pick and roll. He's still slow as hell.
Yeah, that's something that he needs to improve on. I mean, the last big center that made an impact was Dwight in Orlando, and then after that, it's like maybe Shaq with Miami, but that was D Wade's team, and we have to go back to Shaq in LA. So I feel like that's the last great center team we had. So is Jokic the type of guy to break the mold from the guards league to make it a centers league again? I don't really know, but it's definitely worth a
I
question.
consider AD like a center now. I think AD is better than Jokic.
AD is at his best when he plays center, but he considers himself a power forward. But
You think AD or Jokic is better?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Jacob, what were you saying?
I'd go AD.
Are you saying AD's a
AD
better
is
power forward or
like
than
if
Jokic?
he was healthy, he'd be the MVP. Like I legitimately think.
Yeah, probably best defender in the league too.
I think the best defensive center is still Rudy Gobert. But
If
you're looking for a guy that isn't like a pin protector, I think it's Bam Adebayo because he can switch 1 through 5.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, but AD doesn't get the recognition because everyone knows he's so good, and his game is more all around than any of them combined. That's why he's like.
I'm still saying Rudy. That's fine, but I'm still saying Rudy Gobert is the best defensive center.
I feel like Rudy Gobert's kind of like the typical, like kind of like 90 center. He doesn't really shoot. No, because everyone big now has like a 3-point game. Like Bam can shoot. Good example. It's just nowadays you can't tell me that the Jazz.
Say Bam can shoot.
He can shoot a little bit.
Barely.
His range is like 15 feet, and then he hit
Mid-range.
He had an 18-footer last night.
Barely.
He shoots it when he needs to shoot it. His first priority as a playmaker.
Let's talk about the Rockets now, because
hold on. I want to ask you guys a question about the Clippers real quick.
About what?
So they were built to win this year. Montrezl Harrell, JaMychal Green, and Marcus Morris. A lot of their front court minutes are free agents this year. What do? Do they re-sign those guys? Do they play Zubats like 35 minutes a game in the regular season? What do you do if you're the Clippers?
I give up whoever I need to get Kawhi and Giannis on the same team, without giving up everyone. I would really be pushing for that trade.
I really don't think that's realistic. I don't think Giannis is going to get moved at all. Well, especially not to the Clippers.
I know they met and stuff, but
what do y'all think about Giannis and following his teammates?
I heard he does like heavy.
Should we put stock into that or no?
Okay,
I think he just follows. He even followed all the players too, because he used to follow like Steph Curry and a bunch of other guys and Jimmy Butler.
Hang on, let me talk. That's what Allen Robinson did for the Bears. It's just leverage. They're using that shit as leverage to get what they want. Don't.
No, I personally think it's just to prove that, like, whenever he makes his decision, he's gonna be like, I literally only care about my family, and we all know that Giannis is a huge
followed his wife.
Back to the Clippers. Kawhi and Paul George are only there for 1 more year. They're on a 1+1 now. 1-year player option. Obviously, you're probably going to take the player option because you can get a max deal, especially if you're Kawhi Leonard. Paul George, still a max player despite the playoff struggles.
He couldn't get a max next year.
Paul George would 100% get a max contract in free agency right now. From a lot of teams.
Really? After these playoffs? I was thinking like $20 million.
Yeah, I mean, he'd definitely get a max contract. You're telling me that a team like the Rockets, if they had cap, wouldn't give him a max contract?
Sounds well.
There's a lot of teams. Like every team, if Paul George is willing to sign with you for a max contract, they're going to sign him.
I would rather have Marcus Smart on a max. That's like definitely a
blasphemy. Absolute.
That is recency bias of Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, great player, but that is recency bias.
I can't believe you just said that. You think Marcus Smart is on the same tier as Paul George?
Same tier as in like shooting like crap in a game 7.
Overall player, you're taking Marcus Smart over Paul George.
Probably better than Paul George.
Okay. You just said Marcus Smart is probably better than Paul George.
I didn't say that, but I'd rather give a max to Marcus Smart considering age, playoff performance.
Over here.
Wow.
Marcus Smart is that good.
Like I'm a Suns fan, but I'm not delusional about Devin Booker. But clearly, you're delusional.
I mean, Marcus Smart, like the only thing he has on him is like he's 26. Paul George is 30.
Would,
But
would Marcus Smart get a max this offseason? Yes or no?
are you talking
Paul
about like
George
the
can
max
put a
contract?
team back. Marcus Smart not.
Would he get?
You can't ask Marcus Player to be the third best player in the championship team. He's not the third best player on the Celtics. He's their fifth option when everybody's healthy.
Clearly, Paul George isn't a number 2 on.
Okay, option, but then also value. I think he's higher than fifth in value.
Okay, but Tatum 1, Brown, Walker. I mean, is he 4? Is he ahead of Gordon Hayward? I'm okay with that, but I don't think he's top 3.
In terms of importance, I think he's ahead of Kemba.
He's pretty close. Yeah, Kemba Walker's been absolutely.
But like option and scoring, most definitely. But value, third.
You can say he's their glue guy, but I don't think you can say he's important. He's
Marcus Smart or Van Vliet.
Fred Van Vliet.
Fred Van Vliet.
They're pretty similar to me. I couldn't really put one.
Fred Van Vliet can create his own shot off the dribble.
Well, he's been pretty inefficient with these playoffs.
They're like on the opposite extremes. Like one's really good at offense, one's really good at defense. So like
Van Vliet's a good defender. He's a good defender too.
Fred Van Vliet.
Yeah, he led the league into he wasn't. I don't know if he led the league exactly, but he was like top 5 in deflections or something like that.
Wow,
he's a good off-ball defender.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of people. He's undersized. Here's the thing about Lowry and Fred Van Vliet. They're both undersized guards, but they're really good defensively. They just can't create their own shots against guys that especially for the Celtics, it's just a mismatch problem. Because if you stick Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, they're not going to be able to get anything. And Siakam couldn't do anything. So
what's Lowry average in that thing?
I mean, he had a monster game in Game 6, but Game 7 he was like 5 for 17.
Terrible. Game 7.
Also, do you guys give a Kawhi a pass for this game?
No.
He played 44 minutes. He's Mr. Load Management.
No.
You give him a pass. Are you okay? Are you okay with giving him a pass?
No.
The entire Clippers organization does not get a pass. This is an complete fail.
I think the only person that gets a pass for this series is Kawhi, and the reason for that is because he's already established himself as a legendary.
A pass for what?
The series.
I just think that we literally thought of him as the best player in the world, and I get you're tired, but in a Game 7 where you're supposed to win the finals, you can't you can have a bad game, but you gotta still at least do something.
No, the fact that they've had leads in every single game, within the third quarter, bro, that is.
And that attributes to the coaching.
The only 2 guys that I feel like played hard this entire series was Kawhi Leonard and Patrick Beverley. And those I don't and honestly I give Kawhi the pass because he has that. He has those 2 rings where he dominated in Toronto and upset the Heat and broke down a super team.
You can't get
I give him a pass for those. But I don't
Nuggets.
Nobody else on the Clippers deserves a pass. You look at Paul George, what has he done? You can't hold you have to hold them accountable. But
terrible. I can't even talk about him. He's so bad.
I think Kawhi is no longer the best player in the world, but you can still give him a pass as an all-time great because think about it. Every player has had their blemishes. Kobe Bryant blew through and lead. LeBron in the finals against Dallas, every fourth quarter was a choke fest.
Okay, but this is the Nuggets.
Nuggets are a good team.
When you have multiple.
They're a good team, but nobody thought that. And the Clippers, literally everyone thought they were going to win the finals.
How do you
did you think that the Kobe Bryant 3-1 lead blown against the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire? Who did you think was going to win that series? Wouldn't you take a Kobe team over a Steve Nash team? I mean, he blew a 3-1 lead. We have to look back. Sometimes not every player is perfect. What NBA player is perfect?
Kobe has 5 rings. That's definitely
Michael Jordan.
Big.
Exactly. There's one in the finals. Who else is that? Yes, Kobe Bryant has 5 rings, but he had 3 when he blew that lead.
Carried by Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq was the best player in all 3 of those teams. There's a reason he won Finals MVP.
It looks like we're getting a little off course, but yes or no, Kawhi.
I'm just saying.
I go no.
I'm just saying that legendary players have made legendary mistakes. Kawhi Leonard's not the first.
Pass or no? Evan and Jacob.
What?
Pass or no? Does he get a pass? Kawhi.
I don't think he does. I'm not giving him a pass on this one.
No.
Really good.
scrub.
In my opinion, it's not like it's his 15th choke like James Harden. This is his first.
I think we're discussing it differently than from what like Isaac is trying to talk about it, and I still haven't been like it hasn't been clarified, so I don't know like what angle he's trying to come from.
What I'm trying to clarify in this series is that this is Kawhi's first mess up in the postseason. He was not messing up games 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Game 7 was his mess up, but he's the guy who gets a pass because he showed up for the first 6 games.
You can't mess up in Game 7 though. You just
if
can't.
if you're that bad in Game 7, you don't get a pass. He was terrible. He was like 6.
I know, but every NBA star has virtually had a bad Game 7. Kobe Bryant went 7 for 18 in Game 7.
Not Marcus Smart.
2010, Isaac.
Yeah, against Dallas when he got swept, he went 7 for 18. And Ron Artest, that's the series they won. But
to Kobe.
I'm just saying, all NBA legends have messed up before. Like LeBron's messed up.
So we're saying Kawhi's a legend.
Yes. Would you not say he's a legend? He's already a top 5 small forward.
Well, I want to see how his 30s
top
go.
6 if you want to put in Dr. J, but I think Kawhi's better than Dr. J for his career.
30s.
What?
I want to see how he is in his 30s because obviously he's going to be better than like a Tracy McGrady that got hurt.
He's already better than those guys.
Oh, I know, but like I don't know if he's like I think he's in between somewhere between like a Tracy McGrady and a name another like really good small forward. That's not like LeBron. I'm trying to think.
I mean, my small forward list is.
He's in between.
I mean, my small forwards are LeBron, Larry Bird,
okay, yeah,
Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and then Scottie Pippen.
I think he's in.
You forgot someone. Nah.
Really serving?
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Oh my.
He's in between. Kawhi's in between Tracy and KD right now in terms of legacy.
Okay, then how does that make any sense if Scottie Pippen, who is already a legend, we all know he's a legend, Dr. J, already a legend, like, how has he not established himself as a legend? Like, if he were to retire today, he would be a Hall of Famer.
I think
you can't tell me.
Probably.
Personal opinion.
You can't tell me he's not. I mean, T-Mac's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he never won anything. He never made it out of the first round, except for when he signed on as like a 35-year-old in San Antonio.
Okay, I'm gonna say no for a pass right now, but if they end up winning it all next year, I think that pass will be given.
But I don't think they're gonna be able to have a shot because, like he said, like, do you pay that much money to all of those guys? Like, this was their year. Okay, so bridge from that. Do we think they're gonna be in a position to win next year?
They're definitely making a trade. Steve Ballmer has balls.
Psychologically, it's really tough to return with Doc Rivers after you blow 3-1 lead. It's really tough to put your trust in Paul George and Lou Williams after they shot very inefficiently.
Tyronn Lue's a joke.
I said Lou Williams.
I know. You started talking about Tyronn Lue earlier in the options. Tyronn Lue is not a valid option.
He's not a joke.
I mean, at the end of the day, he did make adjustments to win a championship, and that's something Doc Rivers failed to do in this series. They didn't know what to do with Nikola Jokic. They blitzed him, they double teamed him, but he just broke down the defense. I mean, yes, Jokic is insane. Obviously, we all know Jokic is offensively gifted, but there was no explanation on how to stop him.
Jamal won the series.
No, he was inefficient for most of the games. Jokic was their clear best player. Jokic was the best player on the floor.
Probably better 1 through 6, but Jamal Murray won them Game 7
with 40 points.
If he wasn't shooting first half, they would have gotten blown out. He had 25.
I don't know though because the Clippers are just psychologically messed up to where the Nuggets could have came back down 15 again. So who knows? All right, let's move on to the Rockets.
Rockets real quick, yeah.
Yeah. So they want a culture change in Houston. Who do you think their best head coach option is? Obviously, D'Antoni's left. And also, what do you do with Russell Westbrook and Michael Wall?
You keep Russell Westbrook, I guess. I mean, there's nothing else. You'd have.
I don't think you can move him.
You have to throw in future picks that you really don't even have.
They don't have them anymore from becoming.
Hire Igor.
I think that the trade that would be perfect, but it will never happen for them, is Russell Westbrook to the Pacers for Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner.
Oh, ain't no way! I'm I'm not trading Malcolm Brogdon for Westbrook, like, period.
I said it
Maybe
will.
not
I said it
even
will never
third.
happen. I said it will never happen, but it would be the perfect fit. Brogdon is a beautiful off-ball player, and Turner stretched the floor and still gives him the opportunity to play 5 out.
I honestly think this team was, like, really, really good. Westbrook just screwed it all up. Literally.
I agree. I mean, they have a blueprint. They treat him like Ben Simmons.
Do you think that if
rebounds are deadly, dude?
Would you rather have the team they had in like a Duncan Robinson or Russell Westbrook? Like, obviously Duncan Robinson is like a worse defender, but just like literally having that many big bodies that can shoot and Harden can just drive and kick literally every time, I think I'm taking that.
But
Westbrook hurt them so much.
They need better.
I mean, that hurt. Westbrook hurt them, and House being out hurt them because
the Rockets years were inconsistent.
Yeah,
I think they would have won game 2 if House played instead of Westbrook in crunch time. But you just can't bench your superstar. At least I don't. I mean, Mike D'Antoni if he knew he was on his way out, maybe he should have tried it. But
they needed like a Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield would have been a good fit with the Rockets, I think.
That's a bad contract, though.
I mean, he chucks like 9 threes a game at 40%. So I mean, he's a great player in a lot of teams. So.
Is it time to move on to the Celtics and the Heat?
Yeah, but do you think who do you guys think is the Rockets like coaching option, honestly? Like do you guys have any ideas of who you think would be hired?
Billy Donovan.
Yeah, I like Billy Donovan.
I like Jeff Van Gundy, but I don't know if he's gonna leave the booth. Did you see how fast he recognized the Nuggets plays yesterday and made the adjustment that Doc Rivers couldn't do when he was on the sideline?
Well, it's easy for him at the booth, but look at it.
I have a question.
How could they not?
I have a question.
Magic.
People are saying like that Bam block was like one of the best blocks of like playoffs. Like, is that true? Like, it was a block, but like I just don't. I don't know.
I think it is. I mean, it was the game-winning tie game dunk, but Bam just palmed it. I mean, it's a great play. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is LeBron chase downing Iggy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know enough about the history of block shots in the clutch. So let's transition to the Celtics and Heat. So obviously, game 1 was taken by the Heat in overtime, and I thought the takeaway from that game was that I think the Celtics should have won the game. That was a very winnable game for them. And Kemba Walker struggles.
Brown wasn't really either.
Really showed up. Yeah, I agree with that.
Both were still better than Duncan.
I mean, I don't really know why Duncan Robinson hit a big 3, which pretty much put them back in the game.
6 points. 6 points and 4 fouls. 2 for 7 from 3. Get out of my face.
Hey, he takes more difficult 3-point shots than anybody in the Celtics.
Well, that's inefficient. Get out of my face.
That's his role, CJ.
He sucks. He's one. If he didn't have shooting, he wouldn't be in the NBA. If you're one skill away from being out of the NBA, you're not good, in my opinion.
JJ Redick, good.
Kyle Korver.
JJ Redick is he's an athletic freak.
Yeah, we'll even go there. Trae Young.
Kyle Korver, athletic freak.
No, don't bring Trae Young to this. That was very bad.
Trae Young is a very good playmaker.
Yeah, Trae Young's elite playmaker. He's not just 3.
Yeah, he has more than one skill, Jacob.
But I don't think Duncan Robinson. I think Robinson's one skill outweighs like some guys like 3 skills. When you're shooting 45% from deep on catch and shoot threes on 500 attempts, you're a very valuable asset. He gives the Heat floor spacing. They have him and Hero and Jay Crowder as their volume shooters, and they knock down shots.
The bubble is UK, baby. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Tyler Hero, I really don't think he's that good, but he had a really good game last night. I'll admit that. I'm talking about long term. He's not. I don't think he's that good. I don't see like that much potential growth.
Good for you. I disagree.
Fine.
I think Hero has at least one to. I think Hero has a. I like him because he's willing to shoot the ball. And the clutch.
Got elephant balls. Quote John Calipari.
Let's talk about Goran Dragic and his big game yesterday. And
hey, y'all know his brother's just like the same, except it's with a Z instead of
Goran. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler was talking about that yesterday.
Maybe a former son.
And he.
Yes.
Goran Dragic. Yeah, he outplayed Kemba straight up.
I think he's gritty, and he's their playmaker when it comes to creating their own shot off the dribble.
Every single player on the Heat respects each other. That's why they're so good.
Their chemistry is really good.
Celtics, they just showed that they can, if they are playing just decent, they can kill the Heat. I mean, Kemba Walker was horrible. Jaylen Brown wasn't very good. Daniel Tice couldn't get a freaking
When's
reach.
Hayward coming back? Just a question.
I'm predicting
Projected to be game 3.
I'm saying game 4.
And I'd also like to say that Gordon Hayward coming back, yes, this is a positive thing, but there's also some like repercussions with your rotations and accommodating him into the scheme again.
He's not going to play late game, I doubt. I think they're going to stick with Smart.
Okay, yeah, but he's still my good man.
I know, but
I think that what they should do is go uber small 1 through 5. Go Walker, Smart, Brown, Hayward, Tatum. I don't think Ty should be in their in-game lineup. I think Brown can guard Bam.
I don't know. They had a really bad offensive rebounding problem, and
Smart can guard Bam.
I'm just saying Brown because he guarded Siakam last
I
year.
haven't rebounded all offense. I want to get some rebounds. I think
I mean, Ty had 4 rebounds yesterday.
It was horrible.
No, but one of them it was a really good board. It was offensive too.
Bam and Jimmy Butler were getting all the offensive rebounds yesterday. It was pissing me off.
You want to know the leader for rebounds for the Miami Heat?
Probably Tower Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I described it for you.
UK.
Rebounds are very fluky.
I mean, he was 1 assist away from a triple-double. So
He's clearly not very athletic to get rebounds. So rebounds are really fluky.
Hero got extended minutes because of the
Duncan Robinson
foul trouble, which I don't think they want to play Hero 40 minutes a game. But it's still
capable of it.
Promising development.
I think the big X factor none of us have talked about yet, Jay Crowder. Oh my God, he was huge.
Yeah, I said that. He's turning into he can shoot 8 threes a game and make 4 of them.
Now, I think he's gonna have an off he'll probably be off game 2, but throughout the series he'll probably be okay. I don't think he's that consistent.
I mean, Jay Crowder, since getting to the Heat, shot 45% from 3 on 6 attempts a game. So I think he's their shooter now. He's their guy. He's at the trade deadline they tried to trade for Gallinari, but Crowder is giving him exactly what they needed out of Gallinari. I mean, obviously Gallinari can create his own shot better, but Crowder gives him the 3-point shooting, but it gives him more toughness and it gives him the more defense and the switching ability, which really helps you out.
Gallo's not doing it.
Especially Duncan Robinson.
His coordination, I do not like.
Jay Crowder?
No. Gallinari. He's too much of a big body.
He's slow, just like D-Rob.
But yeah, Crowder shooting 42% from 3 in the bubble this postseason on 8 attempts. So I count on Jay Crowder to have big shooting games.
Good contract still.
Yeah, he's still on the same contract that the Celtics are going to pay him on.
28 mil.
Something like that, yeah.
32 maybe.
What do you guys think about Wanamaker? I think he's a dog.
I do not like him.
He's tough.
Because he was good.
He's a boring play style, but he's been tough.
He's solid.
You guys think he's getting 10 mil a year in free agency, like I said?
Maybe. I can see it.
I really don't know.
It depends on the
yeah, I don't know if the Celtics can afford Wanamaker to bring him back as their backup.
They will because they have
especially.
I think
they've got to pay.
Talk about Monte Morris.
They've got to pay Jason Tatum in a year or 2.
Step up. Tremont Waters is legit. I'm telling you.
You just said Tremont is better than Monte Morris.
No, but they're not going to want to spend the money on Monte. I'm talking about Tremont's better than Carson Edwards.
That just came out of nowhere.
I'm talking about Tremont's going to be their backup point guard, not Monte.
Hey, Jay Crowder is a free agent this offseason. He's going to get paid too, along with Wanamaker.
Jay Crowder
to the Suns.
I don't know who the Celtics backup point guard will be next year. I think their backup point guard is probably Marcus Smart, honestly.
Marcus Smart plays 1 through 3 for them. I think strictly backup point guard will be Tremont.
I don't know if you can trust him with rotation minutes, especially given his size.
Yeah,
maybe you can, unless he's playing with Smart, Brown, and Tatum at the same time. I would not play him on the court. I think you have to have 3 good defenders to help him out.
Playmaking could legit be top 10 in the league in his prime. He's a really good playmaker.
But you have to hide him on defense.
I know, but
it's like Isaiah Thomas, Trae Young, guys like that.
Kemba's defense has been terrible too. talk about
But
that.
they hide him because there's 3 elite defenders with him on the floor at all times pretty much.
I didn't watch much of game 1, but who defended Dragic the most? Kemba?
You saw some Kemba, you saw some Smart. You didn't see Tatum. Tatum was usually on Butler. Brown was everywhere, so it's usually like Kemba and Smart.
Butler needs to show up during the first 3 quarters. He's like always.
He's their closer. He's okay with letting them distribute. That's fine. If it wins them the game, why does it matter?
I think Boston's gonna come out and destroy.
Hey, boy, never mind.
It's hard. It's really hard to go up 2-0. Like, just think about it psychologically. You know, Celtics. They're frustrated. They're pissed off. They're gonna.
I still think they're the best. I think the Celtics are the better team, but I think they're grueling 7-game series with the Raptors and the heavy minutes that are being forced to play because of their lack of rotation, aside from Wanamaker and Tice. I mean, Wanamaker and Williams. The Williams pair off the bench is going to take a toll on them. Like, kind of like what we saw from Portland.
People put way too much stock into that crap. These guys are professional athletes. They get the best.
Did you see the Trailblazers? Yusuf Nurkic was gassed.
That's new Yusuf Nurkic. I'm talking about the Celtics main guys, Tatum, Brown.
Yeah, if they're playing 45 minutes a game, Jason Tatum's playing like 40-plus minutes a game. Kemba Walker's playing 40-plus minutes a game. Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart are playing 40-plus minutes per game. You don't think that takes a toll on them?
These were Yusuf Nurkic's first games back from being hurt from a while. I'm not saying it doesn't take a toll, but it takes a toll on everyone. I don't think it takes a toll on them more than normal.
At the end of the day, the Heat have a deeper bench than the Celtics.
You don't need a deep bench.
Are you sure about that? I'm telling you this. It's going to take a toll. I mean, Hayward gives you some additional minutes, which is great for you, but
you only need a 7-man rotation, maybe 8.
And they go 8. They go 2 guys. They go Hero. He plays heavy minutes. They flip Iguodala and Hero in the 4th, and then they get
Iguodala sucks. Please.
They get none in Olynyk minutes, and then Derek Jones Jr. played a little bit yesterday, but
he was terrible. Why would you commit an away from the ball foul? What an idiot!
Pushed by Kemba.
I don't think Iguodala sucks. He's actually pretty damn good for them, but that's my opinion. I just want to say, nearly everybody in the Heat starting lineup had plus in their plus minuses. Everybody aside from Tyler Hero, because he's pretty much playing with the starting lineup, had minuses. But Iguodala's -2 was the best.
Tyler, go!
Don't put stock into that plus minus crap. Oh my god.
Plus minus matters at the end of the day.
It's not a great stat, but you still have to.
You still have to consider it.
You have to You can't just completely wipe it.
Like if it's a glaring issue that when the Celtics play Enes Kanter, their offense is significantly worse, then yeah, obviously I'm not going to play Enes Kanter, and there's a reason he's on the bench.
I'm talking about in terms of like the guards, forwards, like that we talk about, like the wings. Like it just depends on when teams get hot from 3. Like that's basically the gist of it. That's the only difference in the plus minus. So I'm not going to put any 0 stock into that shit.
Well, you also got like BPM and win shares and stuff like that, but
all that shit's just
Iguodala's sample size is too small because he played like 10 games.
Look at shit like that.
But he's a positive contributor on winning teams, and that's been proven because he's been in the finals 5 years in a row, and now it's in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Heat.
Yeah, he's just ring chasing.
How is he ring chasing?
Kidding. They traded for him. I'm kidding.
All right. So we've talked about the Heat and the Celtics. Is there any other things you want to cover about the Heat and Celtics?
Jaylen Brown needs to take the ball to the basket more. He's been a little bit passive, I think.
All right, let's go back to the Nuggets and the Lakers because I feel like when they talked about their small ball lineup, let's talk about Jamal Murray and who's going to guard him.
Danny Green probably.
I mean,
Danny Green.
They have no. Are you going to put Caruso on him for heavy minutes? I think he's their best defender on the guard.
He'll get maybe 15, 20 minutes a game, but
he closes with their endgame lineup though sometimes, depending on the matchup. He closed with Portland because they had Lillard.
I know, but you can't rely on him to like. I don't know. He just.
Yeah, but
I don't know. He's just not that impactful in my opinion.
would you rather have a guy like Deion Waiters or
No.
KCP or
KCP over Deion Waiters and Caruso in my opinion.
I would definitely take Caruso over.
Defending?
I definitely take Caruso over KCP on defense.
That's like a crapshoot. Like they're all. It's okay.
I mean, you can put LeBron on him for some possessions, but how long is LeBron going to care? Or how long is LeBron going to guard Jamal Murray?
Guard his little ass. LeBron's going to be on probably.
He's probably going to be chilling on the corner playing the help man. He's going to be on like Jeremy Grant or Gary Harris. That's my prediction.
So do they play Paul Millsap, Grant, and Jokic at the same time?
Grant.
Jeremy.
Oh, Grant. Yeah, that's their starting lineup. And if the Lakers go big, then I don't see why they wouldn't. Grant and Millsap are tough defenders that can counter LeBron and can guard AD in a pinch.
I think AD is going to be too damn good. That's my concern in this series.
I feel like the same could be said for Jokic, vice versa.
I mean, Jokic his impact's more than just shooting, but AD as far as scoring, he's going to absolutely kill them. I think.
Jokic is a great playmaker too.
I think I have Lakers in like 5 or 6, honestly. Probably closer to 5.
I feel like we need to stop. I don't know. I feel like that's a reasonable take, but at the same time, I feel like we need to stop sleeping on the Nuggets because
I'm giving them 6 games. I mean,
they've proven themselves back-to-back series that they can play through a hole. So
yeah, and if it gets to a game 7, that's even more of a reason to root for. Like, think the Lakers are going to win. You know, as much as I hate LeBron, but you don't bet against that dude in the game 7. That's been proven. Why is it getting all quiet?
All right. So do you guys want to talk about our top 3 pick consideration for the upcoming draft? So let's start with the comparison of the guards, Edwards and LaMelo Ball.
Anthony,
what do you guys think about?
Yeah, we're just pick. Don't even waste your time thinking about LaMelo Ball.
I'd probably go Edwards.
You'd go who?
I'd probably go
Edwards. Oh yeah, his build, dude. He's gonna be a 2-way star.
But yet again, LaMelo's right behind him.
I think Wiseman should go too. That's just me.
Warriors?
Yeah, well, I think the Warriors are gonna end up trading it, but I think Wiseman's the second best prospect.
Yeah, I would draft Edwards first, and I think Wiseman's the second best. I think Wiseman's the safest pick in the draft. Honestly, he's good. His only issue is shooting the ball, but I think the rest of that.
I think Obi Toppin might be the safest pick in the draft.
I think it's Wiseman.
Well, if Obi Toppin was 20 right now, he'd be the number 1 pick. Facts or fiction?
That's all hypotheticals. I don't really know.
Well, he's a beast. So you wouldn't want him at 4?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of guys like Isaac Okoro and Denny Avdija.
Isaac Okoro is going to be shit. I'm not putting any stock in those wings that can't shoot. If you want Kevin Knox, if you want a Kid Gilchrist, go right ahead. But he's going to be terrible, I think.
Isaac Okoro's a defensive-minded wing, while Knox is
Kid Gilchrist.
Terribly offensive-minded.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist. You don't want another Kid Gilchrist. I'm liking Killian Hayes more too. A lot of potential, but I don't know.
I think he's predicted to go.
His athleticism, though, is the only question. I think he doesn't look that athletic.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Step back.
That makes sense.
That. But you went Denny at number 4.
It's a consideration, yeah. I think with pre-draft workouts that it would help teams decide on who they would rather pick.
Yeah, during all the Luka stuff, like the international prospect, I was high on him, but He doesn't look like an NBA like level guy who can be like solid. And
I think that both
shooting,
LaMelo,
like I think
LaMelo and Denny both are very inefficient, and they need help with that.
one of them's gonna end up being absolute crap. Like probably the other one might be good, but I don't. Chances of Denny being good, in my opinion, are pretty low. Just with the way he can't shoot, and he's not that athletic. I don't think.
All right. Well, any predictions for the rest of the conference finals before we wrap this up?
Celtics and 6. I had them winning in 5 originally, and if they win in 6, it'll basically be like them winning in 5 from this point on. And then I'll give Lakers in 6 too.
Jacob?
Thanks. I don't know. I feel like this Heat series could go into a game 7. I don't know. Just the Heat just have so much.
I hope it goes game 7.
The Heat just have a lot of dog mentality.
They're very gritty, especially with their leader, Jimmy Butler. And Bam,
You guys get
Dragic,
predictions.
Crowder.
Give the meat and potatoes.
I think the Celtics are a better team than the Heat, but the Heat have a mentality that they can overcome better teams and have the grit in them. And why bet against Miami? Like every time we bet against Miami, like when Jimmy Butler first signed there, it was like, why is Jimmy Butler going there?
Doing anything.
Exactly. And now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. When they played the Bucks, who picked the Heat over the Bucks?
Isaac,
Well, a lot of people didn't.
I think you made your prediction quite clear.
And I think why bet against Miami? I think the Celtics are a better team, but at the same time, the Heat are really gritty and they have a good chance to win. I think he could go 7. Now with the Western Conference, obviously the Nuggets are a comeback machine, and they don't know any other series besides 7 games. But the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis are
LeBron doesn't
clearly
lose for the finals.
they're clearly established.
Finals.
They're clearly established as a
Finals.
dominant team.
What?
It's going to be a 2010 NBA Finals, Celtics and Lakers.
It will be, and it'll all depend on Anthony Davis and how the Celtics can stop him or not. Which the answer, in my opinion, is no. I think the Lakers are going to win it all. I
think the Lakers are the best team left, but we'll have to see.
Evan, can you give me some concrete predictions, not Isaac's rambling about how he won't pick a damn side? Pick someone, Isaac.
Because he wants to be safe. He doesn't like to be wrong.
It's a podcast, not a little regular conversation.
I told you what my opinion was. I said I have the Lakers and the Celtics. They're the better teams. But I'm saying that we have to acknowledge the Heat in Denver and their comebacks in Denver's case and the Heat's grittiness throughout the series.
When the Nuggets come back 3-1, 2 different
You have to acknowledge them.
You have to. You can't just overlook them. Like Jamal Murray said, you got to respect us too.
Let's be honest here. Once the Clippers went up 3-1 and we're up 18, didn't we all just throw the Nuggets out the window?
I did.
And they came back.
I did.
I thought the Clippers. I thought there was a wrap, and the Clippers in 5, but that didn't happen.
So do you have the Lakers winning or the Nuggets winning?
I have the Lakers winning, but I'm just saying you have to respect the Nuggets.
But you can't predict.
I think that. What?
You can't predict Celtics Heat.
I said that I think the Celtics are the better team.
Oh my God! It's not prediction, Isaac. You're stating your opinion.
I'm saying, why bet against the Heat? The Heat are gritty. They're tough.
You said why bet against the Heat. You didn't say why bet against the Celtics or anything.
Yes, okay, but I'm also acknowledging.
Who actually thought the Heat would beat the Bucks? Well, like I did. But
you guys were.
Your argument seems to be that it's a better team, and when you have Giannis and you're facing Giannis, you would assume that that's the better team. But the Heat beat them.
The Heat messed up.
Can't do that.
Then just give a prediction. Oh my God.
Usually the best player on the floor on that team usually wins the series, and when it's not the 7-seeded Russell Westbrook Thunder or something like that.
Or the Giannis that only shows up in the regular season.
Yeah, and the Celtics are they have better players. Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler, yeah, they're both the leaders of their team. Don't get me wrong. Bam and Dragic, they look like it's 2 and 3. When you compare them to Brown and Walker, it's really hard to say that even though Goran's been killing this playoffs and Bam was an all-star this year, it's really hard to pick the Heat in that. But you can't bet against the Heat because their depth, their grittiness, their toughness, that the Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra culture that they've set there, it's hard to bet against them.
All right, to translate Isaac's jargon, Heat in 7. All right, Jacob, what are your predictions again?
I got it. I'm saying the Heat Celtics go to Game 7, and I got Lakers in 5.
Well, who do you have in Game 7?
In Game 7, I have the Heat. I'm going with the Heat.
Okay. Evan?
I'm rocking with the Heat.
All right. Thank you for tuning into the first episode of the Triple Threat Podcast. Our next episode is TBD, but we will see you then.